At least 20 people have been injured in a suicide bombing outside a Catholic cathedral in the Indonesian city of Makassar. Authorities say 2 bombers were killed in the attack. Churches have been targeted in Indonesia in the past by Islamic extremists. Pope Francis said he would pray for the victims who were attending Palm Sunday Mass.
The beginning of Easter week is a holy time for Christians, but in Makassar the celebrations were marred by violence. As worshippers were leaving Sunday Mass, 2 suspected suicide bombers set off explosions outside the Indonesian city's main Catholic cathedral. One of them was said to be a woman.
Yemeni media reported Sunday an airstrike by the U.S.-Saudi coalition on areas in Al-Hudaydah province. Local Yemeni sources reported on Sunday morning that an airstrike by the U.S.-Saudi coalition on the port of Al-Hudaydah. The invading fighters of the U.S.-Saudi coalition attacked the Al-Lohaya area in Al-Hudaydah, Al-Masirah reported. The spy fighters' jets fired 2 missiles at Al-Hudaydah airport and 2 more at Al-Faza neighborhood in Al-Tahida area, it added. It should be noted that since the establishment of a ceasefire in Al-Hudaydah within the framework of the Stockholm Agreement, Saudi Arabia has not adhered to this ceasefire.
Cheers of celebration in the Suez Canal and horns blaring as the Ever Given finally appears to make a move. For days, and despite a multinational rescue effort, the vessel has hardly budged. Now, finally, it's been refloated. Wedged across the Suez Canal, the scale of the problem has dwarfed the machinery seen as a solution. Dredgers and diggers have removed thousands of cubic metres of sand from underneath the giant container ship, and a team of at least 10 tugboats has been trying to dislodge it for days. Since it ran aground, tankers and cargo ships carrying oil, gas and grain have stacked up at either end of the canal, delaying global trade and costing billions of dollars every day.
People fleeing an insurgent attack on the town of Palma in Mozambique arrived at the provincial capital of Pemba on Sunday. They arrived by bus and boat while relatives waited in the hope of being reunited with their loved ones. The Mozambican government says security forces are working to restore order in Palma, which is adjacent to gas projects worth $60 billion led by companies including Total. The area came under attack on Wednesday. Since 2017, the province of Cabo Delgado, where the town is located, has been the target of a simmering Islamist insurgency linked to Islamic State.
North Korea said on Monday that the UN Security Council's Sanctions Committee was showing a double standard after it slammed Pyongyang's recent weapons test as a breach of UN sanctions. North Korea launched a new type of tactical short-range ballistic missile last week. At the committee meeting on Friday, the United States called for more sanctions on Pyongyang. On Monday, top North Korean official Jo Chol-soo said in state media that the UN meeting was, quote, designed to negate the right of our state to self-defense. He also said that it does not make any sense that only our righteous self-defensive measure should be singled out for denunciation, when many other countries across the globe are firing all kinds of projectiles for the purpose of increasing their military strength.
After months of deadlock, a resumption of talks between Sudan's transitional government and the Sudan People's Liberation Movement North, led by Abdelaziz al-Hilu, has led to this. On Sunday, the two sides signed what's called the Declaration of Principles, a blueprint for talks to reach a final peace agreement in the South Sudanese capital, Juba. The Declaration of Principles states that the army of the SPLM-N will be integrated into the National Army by the end of Sudan's transitional period. How that is implemented has been left to future negotiations.
Allahu Akbar! Tens of thousands of people rallied in cities across the country to voice their opposition to what they've called the pseudo-bill, due to be considered by Parliament. Paris and Lyon both saw heavy turnout. The protests were called by NGOs and unions who argue that the new climate change bill will not help France meet the European Union's minimum emissions goals. The current bill proposes cutting carbon emissions by 40% by 2030. But the European Green Deal aims for the EU as a whole to lower its carbon emissions by 55%.